beauty and mechanicum. And you're going to take the space for me.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Game 2 of CAGBash, hosted by Cincycon. And just a welcome to everyone joining us now. We're so happy that you could join us.
So happy indeed.
Very happy.
Now that we've had our lunch, we're all fueled up, ready to go.
So fueled up.
As I continue to munch on this Bavarian pretzel.
He is munching quite well on that Bavarian pretzel.
Dipping it into the cheese sauce, as you do. No mustard, though. I know everybody was dying to know.
Critical information. Well, we've got two great players for you here today. We have a Space Wolves player. Space Wolves were the words I was looking for. A Space Wolves player facing off against some Adeptus Mechanicus. That Space Wolves player, I'm going to go ahead and give you his list right now. He's bringing a battalion detachment, Imperial Space Wolves. He has taken Trophies of Fenris for one extra relic. He has taken Bjorn the Fell-Handed with a Heavy Flamer and Twin Laskin, because he's Bjorn the Fell-Handed, and a Wolf Lord with Jump Pack, Saga of the Wolfkin, Storm Shield, the Wolfenstone, Thunderhammer, and that is his Warlord. He's bringing one 10-man Intercessor squad with Stalker Bolt Rifles, and two 5-man Intercessor squads, one of which has an Auxiliary Grenade Launcher. In the Elites, we have two groups of Wolfen, all Thunderhammer Storm Shield, it would seem.
Except for it looks like the leaders are on Frost Claws.
The leaders having Frost Claws. In Fast Attack, we have a unit of Suppressors who have taken Grab Shoots, as well as all of them bearing Accelerator Autocannons.
Well, the nice thing is when it comes to suppressors, I'm pretty sure they have literally zero options.
Literally zero? It's just all Accelerator Autocannons?
They are autocannon with grab shoots. That's it. That's all they ever are.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity, I believe, so Games Workshop. Get on that.
Still pretty good. They're good units.
I would love, like, ADL 40s. Just
that would be
automatic
awesome.
Grenade launchers.
Yes. Just throws like 4 crack grenades a turn. That'd be awesome. I wish my guardsmen could take that. We have another battalion. This is a Stalker pack. There's a Wolf Guard battle leader with a Jump Pack Storm Shield, the Armor of Ross, and Thunderhammer. It sounds pretty cool. What's it do? What's it do, Eddie?
Okay, so the Armor of Rust, when in combat, before combat starts, the Armor of Rust players can take it.
So this is Ed. I'm going to explain Armor of Rust real quick and just how awesome this is of a relic. So when the Space Wolf player gets into close combat, before fighting happens, the character with the Armor of Rust selects an enemy unit that is in combat with them, and they have to fight last, regardless of if they charged or not. And if they have a rule that allows them to fight first, like a special rule or something like that, then it's just normal at that point. Yeah. So, yeah.
So, would you say that thematically it's actually that the guy with the Armor of Rust is giving some... Is it Mjol? Is that how you pronounce their brews of choice?
Oh, Mjord?
Mjord, that's it. I'm pretty sure he just gives Mjord to somebody and like,
Mjord.
Sure, I'll drink it. Oh, God, my insides are dying.
The power! So, seeing the Armor of Rust, very curious how that's going to play out. We have a second Wolfguard battle leader, this time in Phobos armor. Interesting. Who has Massive Vanguard and the Field Commander stratagem to allow him to take that Warlord trait. A lot of early pre-game CP here, but when you're taking 2 battalions, you can pull that off. He has Rifle and Paired Blades, as well as a Grab Shoot, and a Mastercrafted Oculus Bolt Rifle. With these 2 HQ choices, we have 3 troops choices, as you would expect from the battalion. And they are an Infiltrator squad, just a basic Infiltrator squad, and 2 Intercessor squads with Auxiliary Grenade Launchers. We finally have a Spearhead detachment. The HQ is a Rune Priest in Phobos armor, Tenebrous Curse, Jaws of the World Wolf, Camo Cloak, and Runic Sword. Which is interesting. Those aren't Warlord traits, are they?
What?
Are those Warlord traits? Tenebrous Curse and Jaws of the
No, those are the psychic powers.
Psychic powers. Oh,
The,
it's a rune
the air
priest.
quote psychic powers, because Space
Right.
Wolves.
Because Space Wolves. It's not aware of that.
Power surge.
Rune powers. And with them, we see something we've seen used to nasty effect on previous streams. 3 Eliminator squads. All with bolt sniper rifles and camo cloaks. A lot of Primaris. A lot of infantry rattling around. That's a tough nut to crack. That's pretty sturdy. It's pretty mobile. You've got some stealth units. You've got some infiltration. You've got some deep strikers. It's a very dynamic force. Almost entirely infantry. I think Bjorn is the only non-infantry model.
Now, remind me again, Bjorn the Fell-Handed. When he gets killed, does he still turn into Bjorn the Fell Objective Marker?
Not anymore, I don't think. Remember that.
Well, he's probably worked to the victory point for killing.
It's worth a VP for killing. Let's ask our player. Hey, Kane. Is Bjorn the Fell-Handed worth a VP for killing? Oh, there you go.
But he doesn't natively do that. Ah, that's what they did for it. He gives extra CP to the owner of him.
Gives extra CP to Bjorn.
Or I guess the way Bjorn works, he gives an extra CP to the person that has inquired for his assistance.
Yes.
And he has decided to approve the request.
It's very commanding. So you want
Okay.
to tell us about that Admech player?
All right, I can tell you about some Admech that we got over here. Starting off, we have another battalion, and their Forge World makes them into a bunch of Marsy boys. And leading them will be Belisarius Call, the plot
Belisarius.
device himself.
Belisarius Ball. Smellisarius Small.
Yep. And then we have Daedalosus. I think that's how he's pronounced.
Daedalus.
No, I think it's Daedalosus. You can look at it there, right underneath Belisarius Call.
Daedalosus it is.
I believe it's Daedalosus. I'm pretty sure that's the pot-bellied picking his nose tech priest from the Kill Team box.
Yeah.
He does something with ranges. There's then 3
Rerolling the
choices in here, which are 3 Cataphren Breacher teams, each with 3 Cataphren Breachers. And they're
Oof.
going full arc today with Arc Claw and heavy arc rifles. All the arcs.
Man.
So many arcs.
That's not going to be that useful in a list with so few vehicles, actually. That's going to be an interesting play.
We'll see how it plays out for them. All right. We then have over here on the heavy support side, we have 3 Castellan robots packing all the Phosphoblastus. All the Phosphoblastus.
All the phosphor.
All the Phosphoblastus. Following behind that, we then have another battalion of Mechanicum, but this is a mixed Forge World. And in there, they are being the Servitor Maniple. So they will be able to resupply. All right, looks like Jack died there for a moment.
Just a second.
How did it look on the other side there?
Bleak. A lot of demons for some reason.
Probably because of that Chaos on Chaos fight we had on this table just a moment ago.
That would do it. The warp was grown thin.
All right. Leading this mixed specialist servitor maniple detachment, words are difficult. We have a tech priest, Dolminus, with an eradication array and a phosphorus serpentine.
I love it when people take that pistol.
We then have a tech priest, Manipulus, with a Magna Rail lance and the solar flare from Lucius. I'm apparently having trouble with L's today.
Isn't the Manipulus the one from the Kill Team box? And is Daedalosus just the named one?
I don't
We'll
know.
see.
I haven't messed with my Mechanicum in a very long time, honestly.
We'll see if he deploys them.
Following that up in the troop slot, we then have 2 units of 3 Cataphren Breachers, keeping up the theme of going full arc, our Arc Clawed and Arc Rifled. The third troop choice, be ready for this. This one's a little bit different. We have a unit of a goddamn 10 Cataphren Destroyers.
What?
All carrying a Cognis Flamer and Plasma Culverins.
Oh, man.
And then following that up, right behind, round out the list, making into a fine 1990 total, is a unit of 17 Fulgrite Electro Priest.
Getting some melee in
Because
there.
you gotta
all right.
have some screaming electric boys.
Yup. All right. Fair enough. Man, that's a lot of cataphrons.
That is a lot of tank tread leg servitors.
Oh yeah. And he also took the phosphor blaster robots. Yeah, that's gonna do a lot of shooting. The Space Marines are gonna be pretty hardy, so we're gonna see how they stand up to this. But it's gonna be an interesting match, no doubt.
No doubt, no doubt.
Although, if those Eliminators manage to snipe out some of those critical tech priests, that's gonna be a huge buff to them,
Yes.
to the Space Wolves. I mean, even if the Eliminator squad sacrifice themselves to do it, the buffs from the Manipulus, Datalosis, and Call, I mean, taking those out, I mean, that's like half your army's efficiency. Those buffs are huge, especially when
huge.
you're running heavy cataphrons, which I believe are base 4 up to hit still. They're BS4 plus because they're servitors.
Yep.
Man, it's going to be interesting. That being said, a lot of cataphrons. That is more cataphrons than you can shake a stick at without being reduced to ash so many times that not even the tech priest can put you back together.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You want to bet? You want to bait? I just shook a stick at it.
Oh, Tom, he's being vaporized before my eyes, proving he's recoalesced somehow.
Yeah.
But still right though, you were vaporized.
Well, I'm really much more like a Age of Sigmar Lizard Man.
You're not made of starlight, Tom.
No, I am a commentator that
You're not
that
a
Jack
memory.
here thinks he sees.
That can't really deny. That's fair.
I mean, he doesn't have headphones on. He can't confirm or deny whether the words that he believes are being said are actually being heard by everybody else on the stream.
Well,
They could just be the voices in his own head.
well, now I'm listening through the headphones, and I can confirm that someone's hearing you. Unless I'm imagining that too.
It could be. The voices in your head are very strange.
Listen, it sounds like we have come to an agreement here. Tzeentch is the worst. Screw Tzeentch.
I can get behind that.
Still, not a lot of Chaos Forces here, just some good old Imperium on Imperium violence.
Yep. The Imperium Watch made sure that the Chaos were dealt with before they swope them up, and the Space were like, we need to fight. You, Mozzie boys, let's fight. And they're like 0011001, and the Space Force like, this is taking way too long.
I don't know, Tom. What do you think really started this fight here today?
Belisarius Call showed up, and he's like, those are Primaris I made. I need to field test them, and started shooting at them. In the name of
Seems
science.
I'm pretty sure the Adeptus Mechanicus showed up and were like, we would like to take several of your wolves apart for science. And they were like, no.
And the Space Force were like, that's dumb. No.
You know how wolves work.
They bork, and they dorbles.
You know who else borks? Tau of the Sept Borkan.
Mm-hmm.
They're Borkan all the time.
Yes, they are.
Discussing which units are which.
We got a nice triangle formation deployment here.
And it looks like our players have elected to use the time clock. And we will try and give you updates on that time clock as time rolls inevitably forward. Minute after minute, second after seconds, millisecond after milliseconds, add a second after add a seconds, and that's pretty much the smallest time scale I can get to it.
Where's nanosecond? Probably in there.
I skipped a lot.
Okay.
Like a lot.
That works. I can accept that.
We're seeing Kelisarius Ball huddled behind a building, tactically using the very ancient stratagem of I would like not to get shot in the face very much, please. That's tactically sound. We've seen that used to some very good effects. And he's cuddling up with a unit of cataphrons.
It has historical precedent that putting a wall between you and people trying to shoot you, a very thick wall, does reduce the amount of bullets that enter your torso.
Protects against lead poisoning and improves lifespan.
Indeed it does.
Welcome to your local Medicaid facility. Are you experiencing bullet wounds? Is las fire coming your way? We recommend prescribing a brick wall. Come on down to Jack Mershon's Brick Wall Barn to get your brick wall today. We also have Rogel Dorn. He's only 49 Imperial credits.
Magic Pain Glove not included.
Nope, however, we can include a similar Magic Pain Glove, by which I mean I'll punch you in the face while wearing an oven mitt and then sell you the oven mitts. Come on down to Jack's Barn of Brick Walls and Primarchs.
If it sounds like the business model changed in the middle of that, it's because it did. We're
It's quite
always
possible.
seeking new ventures.
I'll tell you what, though, you will lose your head when you hear about the deal I've got on Ferrus Manus.
Oh, tell me more.
Well, we got all of them. We got Alfarius, 2 for the price of 1.
Oh my.
We've got Lionel
Omegon's
Johnson.
half off?
Omegon might be half off. Oh my goodness. Though I'm gonna be honest, we can't do these prices all day, and you're gonna think I'm a giant snake when I tell you how much Fulgrim costs these days.
Oh, Lord.
Oh yeah. If you buy Reboot Gilliman just a few lean decades ago, you'll get our Sleeping Beauty discount. Any Primarchs currently lost in the warp can be yours for only a fraction of the price. All receipts and transactions processed by Lorgar's Word-Bearing Services. We're not going to talk about what his shirt is. No.
Just now realized.
Yeah. You have an excellent shirt, sir.
I only just now noticed what was going on there.
It's not related to 40K. Man, those Castellan robots, they look pretty spicy. They're well painted. I like the gloss. Space Wolf's no slouches either, showing up in classic colors.
Classic Space Wolfiness.
So just for your guys' info, because we're working with some classic color schemes, Adeptus Mechanicus are sort of castling up in the bottom left of your screens. Space Wolves deploying in neat lines from the top right corner. Those Marzi boys trying to finagle their things out. All right, Son, how do you think this matchup's going to go?
Well, I do believe that Call is going to be performing some experiments in the way of gunfire and much stabbing going on around him.
That's how you're calling it?
It's going to be very interesting to see if the Eliminators can manage to kill out some of those mechanical characters. They are doing quite a lot for them.
Yeah.
But the giant mob of 10 destroyers, that's where the pain's going to come from, since they can just kind of keep rebuilding themselves like a bunch of filthy Necrons.
Wow. You insult the Necrons.
It did. Because we haven't had them on stream. In fact, I don't think they have any presence here at the event at all. Other than the 2 Necron terrain tables we have, of which one of them glows in the dark.
Is there seriously not a Necron player here?
I'm 90% sure there is no Necron presence.
I didn't see any sisters either.
No, I think there's somebody that has some sisters with this stuff.
There's a sister's presence at least. Well, that's a shame. All right, we are seeing heavy Castellan in the back. I don't know, I think I got a slightly different prediction for you. I'm looking at this castle strategy. It's a very good one. But they're working with 3 objective markers, right?
I believe so.
I think it's going to be a pretty standard game. It looks like the Admech are going to be going second. It's going to be the Space Wolves throwing bodies to try and hold the middle objective. The Admech shooting them off and tying up. The Admech don't have a lot of front runners except the Electro Priests. I don't see a great reason if the Admech stay in their castle with the amount of line of sight blocking terrain on the table and the limited number of objectives for the Space Wolves to particularly go after them very hard. If they can just survive, pick off a unit here or there, because killing 3 Cataphron destroyers just isn't that difficult. So I think this game is really ultimately going to come down to who is killing more units. And I think the Admech have a little bit of advantage there. It's gonna be a movement game for the Space Wolves, and it's gonna be a fire priority game for Admech. I think that's how it's gonna shake out.
No, the Admech definitely has a much stronger shooty presence.
Yep. All right, and that's the game begins. We are at the top of turn 1. The Space Wolves opening up. We're seeing them moving down from the top side flank into the bottom side flank. Flankety flank, flank, flankety flank stake.
Yep. Space Wolves giving out their nice pregame howls.
Ow.
Unfortunately, it has no in-game effect like stopping and praying for the Lady of Lake.
Which does have an effect? What did that do?
Oh, yeah. So Bretonians, they've always had this mechanic. If they're going second, they could choose to pray, and if they're going first, they could choose to give it up to stand and pray. And when they did that, the entire army got 6-up invulnerable saves.
Wow. That's a nice lady.
Yep. And in the days of fantasy, having that was actually very useful.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I never once saw a Bretonian player seriously consider not stopping to pray to the Lady of the Lake.
Yeah, I mean, opening up with 6-up invuln.
And I think there's a few units in there that are especially pious that it becomes a 5-up.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Pious. Eliminators setting up that tower. All right, that was Canticles of the Omnissiah. Fearling wanted to make it Shroud Psalm, so everything's in cover.
And I think they got reroll ones to hit for shooting, right?
Okay, reroll ones in the fight phase and Shroud Psalm.
So they're a bit more concealed if they get shot at and the wolves happen to get up in their face. They'll be slightly more accurate.
Man, look at this heavy castle. I don't think I've seen a deployment of that in a long time. It's not really ideal for firing solutions, but if they're trying to keep units alive to keep their opponent from getting ITC points, they're doing a really good job of it.
Well, it's especially also trying to take advantage of the terrain with all this terrain that we have here. It's trying to make small firing lines so they can just focus a bunch of cataphrons down and just try to kill one unit at a time and just slowly chuck through it. I do almost feel like the tech priest heard Guard talk about tank companies, and they brought all this. And they're like, is this a tank company? This is a tank company.
It's got enough
They've got
tracks for
treads.
it. Cataphron Breachers, the servitors that you can keep on track.
Yeah.
It's firing his eliminators. For a 3-up save. And found him. Firing a second squad of eliminators. Firing both squads of eliminators into those Cataphron Breachers. Looking for 3s. Looking for 4s to wounds. And finding 2 6s. Just looking for a 4-up.
All right, 2 regular damage, 2
mortal
mortal wounds.
and 2 regular damage. That'll still take 1 out. It was sniped very thoroughly in the face.
Stalker bolt rifles now firing. Bjorn the fell-handed, helping a shot. Looking at the Primaris boys and saying, "Hey, I'm 10,000 years old. Shoot better." I'm like, "Oh, I never considered that."
Servitors don't consider a lot of things they're not told to. 4-ups. Ooh.
Ooh.
Not a lot of. So discussing how damage carries through, since it doesn't carry over, it does 2 wounds the first one, another 2 kills the first one, and then only 2 transfers. What do you see? Yeah, we're getting quite a bit of stutter. Please bear with us as we work through it. Rolling for hits.
Solid hits.
Looking for fives. Finding at least 2. Finding 3. -1 AP. 3 up save.
All right.
And
So that front unit of breachers is finally eliminated. We can say that since the eliminators did participate in that.
yep. Eliminators eliminates.
Much elimination.
20. And looking at 2 wounds at -2. Looking for 6s.
The real one at a time.
All right, killing another breacher there.
Killing another breacher. That's 4 breachers down. Quite a lot of damage in this opener. Space Wolves seem to just be picking at the breacher squads, trying to get him down.
Yep.
It's not at all a bad strategy. If they can keep him off the objectives and just slowly whittle down the army. Oh, and that's actually the end of turn 1, folks. They got kill 1 and hold 1 for killing that squad of Cataphon breachers and standing on their objective. I'll be curious to see if those eliminators start moving later in the game when they start running out of targets. They're going to kill themselves out of line of sight pretty quickly if things keep going apace. So, Tom, would you ever consider becoming a servitor?
I don't think anybody gets a choice in the matter when they become a servitor.
Well, no, they don't get a choice. They have to serve their tie to the Emperor. But, like, if you were a servitor, what kind of servitor would you be?
I don't think you get a say in that.
Well, what would you want to be? Well, Eddie, what would you want to be?
I want to be an Arco-Flagellan.
He wants to be an Arco-Flagellan.
So he wants to be some guy that committed some crimes and heresies against the Emperor.
Yeah, you want to be a heretic, Eddie? Heresy.
It's a very controversial opinion over there.
They get to be all...
Doped up on cocaine. Kill people with my flails.
Yeah, you do get to be cocained up and beat people with flails. Let's see, if I were going to be some sort of mindless drone that was only capable of following rules, I think I'd be an Ultramarine.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't think you quite have the speech pattern down correctly to be an Ultramarine, though.
I'm Kato Sicarius, the most Ultramarine of all the Ultramarines. The Codex Astartes indicates that I should giggle here. I think I got it. Oh, they're spreading out. I did not anticipate this at all.
Yep, the Space Force decided not to do a lot of maneuvering, so the mechanic are going to see if they can maybe grab some form of advantage off
Big
of
ol'
that.
scary tracked boys running up. Man, I do want to tell you guys, these armies are really pretty. I mean, all of the track, like every single one of the battle servitors is just, it's painted beautifully. It's red with gold trim. It's like a more regal twist on classic Martian. They look gorgeous. They're all semi-gloss. The Castellan robots are done in this sweet, soft red-orange. The Space Wolves are just as beautiful. The little bit of glimmer off of just their red right pauldrons is a perfect highlight for their blue primary color. It just sets them off so well. These are really pretty armies to watch fight. And if you guys want to see gorgeous armies like this, come on down to one of our Megs events. I'm sure these guys will be at more than one. And if you could join us today, we are happy to have you.
Mm-hmm. I actually have to say with your earlier comment about the Space Wolves having a little bit of shine to them, it's really nice because there's something about that little shine that just makes them feel cold.
It does.
And it's
makes
not
them more
just their
robotic.
bases being covered in snow. It really does feel like there's a bit of an Arctic depression up in that top right flank.
Top side flank?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be an interesting game. I really did not anticipate the Adeptus Mechanicus moving out, but if they can form a forward firing base and take that second
I'm a bit
objective.
surprised that you're surprised, seeing as how they were breachers, which are meant to be close up.
It's not how they're often used. I'll be curious to see how this develops.
I think the Breachers only have a 24-inch range.
Even still, they were plenty well within range with just a twitch move. I mean, you can see on the board, they're just moving up, grabbing the midfields. I just don't see that out of Admech a lot with this particular setup. Moving into the shooting phase now. Admech don't really have a psychic phase. I believe this is a group of breachers firing arc rifles into the infiltrators. Give me just 1 second. For arc rifles, isn't it just D3 against vehicles?
D6 against vehicles.
Oh, they're heavy arc. My bad. Sorry. So those are heavy arc rifles, so they're doing D3 apiece, and they just rip through those infiltrators. I believe that was 3 infiltrators down.
The infiltrators did not ground themselves properly.
No. That's what you get for standing in the snow. All right, firing back at those eliminators. Splitting fire that squad between the top eliminators and the intercessors with the stalker bullet rifles.
Call didn't help there.
Trying to turn the tables on those eliminators.
All right. 3 minuses. The eliminators are underneath an arm right now.
Excuse us while we adjust the dice tray for your viewing consistency.
But yes, we mean Eddie, as he takes a break from fondling the knobs.
You know, calling him a knob fondler, I only just realized is much, much worse because Eddie is an orc player.
Yeah.
Only just put that together.
The last horse crosses the finish line.
And now I'm sad. All right. Just turn me into glue.
I mean, Eddie does run an all novelist.
Yeah.
He has it. He has done
Sweet
it.
glue. All right, shooting into the 10-man squad of intercessors with, I believe, the backfielders. I think, yeah, they're all plasma. A unit of 10 plasma.
Unit of 10 destroyers with Dr. Flavors and plasma fulminants.
All right, 3 are going into the eliminators, 6 are going into the intercessors. This should be pretty brutal.
Here comes all the plasma-y goodness.
Starting the eliminators. Total of 9 shots. All right, gathering up those D6s. Rerolling ones because the Dominus. Very useful. And I think everyone's okay. Looking for choose to win because they're strength 8. These are overcharged. 6 at AP minus 3, 2 damage. This is very brutal fire against intercessors in particular. For 4 ups.
Oh, the camo cloaks failed them today. Those eliminators get wiped out by plasma-y goodness.
And that's the eliminator squad. That's also going to be a unit kill. I believe it's the first unit kill of this bottom of turn 1 for our Admech player. And throwing into the 10-man.
Many much shooting.
Many shots. This is number of shots, remember, folks.
24
Total
shots
24
of plasma
shots.
goodness.
We could see another squad wipe. This is getting very brutal. Tom, what do you think of all this shooting? This is performing actually better than I would have expected. I know it's a very shooty heavy list, but still.
I actually think it's performing about how I foresaw it going. I feel like, oddly enough, Mechanicum, it's a pretty good gauge on how much DACA in this they can put out.
It's a lot of DACA.
Right, these intercessors are probably going to be in some trouble. Got to reroll, and it works. Everything is striking. This is not a good day to be an intercessor.
No, it is not.
That is 24 hits of plasma death. And still getting all these rolls in. 21 wounds from plasma goods. So let's see.
21 wounds.
Let's see 21 sixes here.
It's going to be quite a lot. I think we're probably looking at a squad wipe, Tom, but
I see 3 sixes.
my goodness.
All right, and that intercessor unit is just kind of a puddle right now.
Yep, that's a 10-man intercessor unit. We're going to have to see if these Wolfen dropping in are going to be able to really get those charges in. I will say, if all these units get charged up together, that's going to be a really difficult issue for the Admech to deal with. They don't have any fallback in shooting that I'm aware of.
No, I don't think that's the one trick they can do.
I believe that's 2 unit kills, which is going to give him kill more.
These Kinsellans are considering to light up their phosphor on a 5-man intercessor squad. Checking all the ranges of everything, seeing what truly wants to be done here.
Checking for line of sight. In the classic look and see in style. .27 shots, that's into the remaining intercessor squad, right, Tom?
I believe that was until the 5-man intercessor squad. If I heard right.
Not a good day to be an intercessor.
No, it's not. Got lots of them call rerolls.
Lots and lots. Man. And not a crazy amount of conversions.
Now let's keep finishing out this pool.
A lot of dice. A lot of dice getting thrown today. Man, this is some crazy shooting. It's a lot of firepower. Man, just stacking up the hits.
Looking for 3s here.
Threes to strength 6. Sorry if we're in stunned silence here. Just haven't seen this many wounds all day. I mean, my goodness, folks.
All right, there's 11 wounds from phosphor.
Oh, the superhumanity. Seeing some 6s.
Four of the intercessors get blasted apart by phosphor. As the Mechanicum goes, haha, we will fire these 21st century war crime weapons.
Try our new Mechanos, now phosphor blasted.
I mean, you ever hear the description when people had white phosphorus used on them? It is a horrifying weapon. So, fits perfectly in 40K.
Yes, suits. Jeez. Man, these intercessors getting blasted apart. Not too much to add. I mean, if you could imagine this many Cataphrons, this many people judged unworthy by the Imperium, made into servitors, and then had giant freaking guns strapped to their arms, a tank tread strapped to their waists, just spitting out such gobbets of hot plasma, phosphor, and firepower as you could not imagine destroying Imperium's last best hope, then you will know what it is like to sit here and commentate these games. My goodness, folks.
That was a tangent.
Yeah.
In case you're ever curious what that word means, there's your definition.
Go, looking for T3 damage.
One wound left on that final intercessor. He's
That
hanging
final
on.
Intercessor, he's there. He's protecting those characters. He is a good little intercessy boy. I guess you could say he has a intercessed in the health of those characters.
I guess you could say that. The intercessor's got 3 more saves, -2, and he's dead now. He tried. He gave it a good effort.
Hey, he did well. That's how you protect your leaders. By not dying.
By ensuring
Thank
that
you,
all
Eddie.
the plasma bolts melt you and not them. Eddie, what's going on with all that stuttering I keep seeing on the monitor?
Connection issue.
It's coming from over.
Yep, those little white dots you're seeing are actually Mancala beads or other small glass indicators to let us know which units have fired.
If
that's
you
just
like the
4
idea
minus
of
2
that, I
on the
highly
eliminators.
recommend going to a hobby shop that sells things for like flower decorations. Because
you
if you
get
go to a
buckets
game
of
store
them.
to get gaming stones, you'll find tubes of like about 20, 25 for $10, $15. But if you go to the hobby craft store, you can find bags
Pounds
of
of
these
them.
glass beads.
Pennies on the dollar, folks.
I mean, I bought one bag that was approximately 100 stones for $2.
yup. Gotta get me some of them. All right, and the Eliminators took some hits. A brutal turn 1. That's going to finish us out for turn 1 here, folks. We'll get you the updated score when we have it as we go into the top of turn 2 and see how the Space Wolves respond to this new and emergent threats. That was tough to watch, honestly.
Much science has been made in this first turn.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. You'll see someone who has, and no offense to the player here, but we have players who have unit spam lists, and they go either one of 2 ways. There are people who know that unit and they know what it can do better than almost anybody else. They're the kinds who just think it's really good, so they figure a lot of it would be good. This player has just proven himself to be the former.
Indeed.
I had no idea Cataphrons could be this good. I have learned a lot from watching this today. I hope you
Really?
did too. I knew they could, but I mean, I never would have thought this. This is awesome. Look at that. That's a lot of tank treads coming down to
That's kind of been that way since
throw
7.
some firepower. I just haven't seen it. It's not something I've encountered. I play Admech, but I only run 3 Cataphrons. Gentlemen, could we get the scores for turn 1, if you wouldn't mind?
4, 2, 3.
Okay, can we actually borrow the sheet just for a minute?
We'll give
Thank
it
you,
back.
though. No, it's ours now. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
All right.
All right. Mike, our Adeptus Mechanicus player, has killed 1 and killed more and held 1. He has Headhunter. What's OS?
Old school.
Old School. And KOH is potassium hydroxide, as far as I know.
I'm pretty sure that sounds accurate.
King of the Hill. So you have King of the Hill, Headhunter, and Old School. He has scored 1 for Old School, getting first blood. So that puts him at a total score of 4 for turn 1.
And over to Kane, he has kill 1, hold 1, and hold more, which is going to give him 3 points there. He has not gotten anything from his secondaries, of which are Recon, Engineers, and what would BFG be?
Big field game. Checking with our players now, though. Big friendly giant.
So it's on Kane's.
If you
third
know what
secondary.
BFG is or want to come up with something fun, enter it into the comments now. I would love to hear it.
Any answer will be accepted. There is no wrong answer.
Battlefleet Gothic.
One of these days it'll come back. They've been saying it for like 5 years now.
Yeah. Born for Greatness.
Born for greatness.
I believe that's a new
What
secondary.
What a Space Wolfy secondary.
That is a Space Wolfie secondary. Well, we will look into this for
Let's
you
see
guys.
what that one does. Will they go into the movement phase for these wolves?
Born for Greatness is a seek and destroy secondary. Remember, you got to pick at least one of each. Pick one of your single model character units. This unit gains 1 point for accomplishing each of the following objectives up to a total of 4 points. Each objective can only be achieved once per game. Destroy an enemy unit. Excuse me, folks. That does not have the character keyword. Destroy an enemy unit that has the character keyword. Deny an enemy psychic power. Hold an objective outside of your deployment zone. Heroically intervene into an enemy unit. Begin and end a battle round wholly within your opponent's deployment zone.
That sounds like a fantastic
it's
secondary.
Very Space Wolf. It's a really cool secondary. Oh my goodness, that is an awesome work secondary, Eddie. That's awesome. That is an interesting one. It's going to be a little tricky to pull off.
I would even take that secondary with my Tyranids.
All right, we have some Deep Strike and Wolfen. In the words of Great Wolf Lodge, it's Wolferin time.
Woof woof.
Woof woof, indeed. I haven't seen this many wolves with hammers since I gave that stray pack of dogs a gift card to Lowe's.
I don't see how that could possibly have ended badly. That sounds like an amazing evening.
This is pretty good. They made a habitat for humanity, but then they lived in it.
So they made a habitat for dogs.
Dog manatee.
No, nobody is going to try and stop that.
That's very true. No one did. Especially because they had hammers and saws and stuff.
Everybody just came by and like, oh, it's so adorable. He thinks he can build things. And then they built a house. And they're like, oh, my God. They built a house.
Built a house. All right, we got some Deep Strikers here at the top of turn 2. Those would be the, what are the,
Suppressors.
suppressors coming in with their
You
accelerator
can tell they're
autocannons.
suppressors by the fact that they're carrying around very loud weapons that put out very large
Psychic
muzzle flashes.
phase. Yup. And going for smite for the second psychic power. And getting a smite.
Rune power, good sir.
Yeah, it's smite. What was the first power, my man? Tenebrous Curse. Now, I believe if you look at those suppressors, they chose to take grav shoots and accelerator autocannons. Would you say that's correct?
They chose to do it since they are forced to do it, and
All
they cannot
right.
do anything else about that.
Once again, they have grav shoots and accelerator autocannons. For anyone joining us now, those suppressors have grav shoots and accelerator autocannons.
Eddie is now beating his own hand directly in front of Jack's face.
That's a
but
threat
not actually
display.
meeting contact.
Bjorn is
How
last
he thinks
cannoning
this-
some cataphrons. Lasers. Lasers. So one hit from lasers. And that's a wound, even though it was there briefly. We can confirm.
All right, Space Wolves allowing the Martian boys to use their cannicles.
And made the 6-up invuln.
Those bionics really paying off.
Yup. Eliminator shooting more cataphrons.
All right, trying to finish off a Soul Survivor.
Oh, misses. Looking for the second squad. Little better hitting. There we go. Looking for forged to wounds and finding one of them.
Single wound. It can possibly kill it.
Goes
That's
through.
a fail. D3 points of damage.
And that's a 2.
That's only 2. That's not quite enough to kill that little destroyer.
Not quite.
He's still out there. Sorry, he's a little breacher. He's not a little destroyer. The destroyers are all the way back.
Yeah. I can see why.
They're just in-back conjuring miniature suns.
Yeah, a little bit. Although you're seeing, I mean, the heavy arc rifles are good, but their plasma's better, especially against an intercessor force. And he's protected them with the less valuable arc rifle cataphrons. It's a very interesting way of doing that.
Well, the plasma is just overall decent, and the arcs are just, if you're running a vehicle list, God help your soul.
Yeah. So this is a list that's doing very well against both. We're seeing it against anti-infantry, and we can see how it would do against anti-vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Solid list. Some more missing from the Space Wolves. Sometimes the dice aren't with you. The accelerator, autocannons, considering their targets. Now, the accelerator autocannons, those are 3 damage a pop, right?
I think they're the same stat line as an autocannon, but do more shots.
No, I think it's, isn't it a Helverin autocannon?
I don't know off the top of my head.
1 wound to -2. The accelerators are 3 damage, right? 2 damage. Okay, 2 damage. We have that confirmed from the player.
Take it! I was right.
Yeah.
But then again, the only accelerator autocannons I truly know are the ones on top of a Cincycon battle tank, of which I can't even remember the last time I saw one of those on the table.
It's been a
and
minute.
it upsets me.
Looking for 4s, and failing neither, so that's going to be a kill.
Those breachers not able to fire overwatches are being suppressed by the suppressors with their very loud and unsuppressed weapons.
They suppress others. And they at least have muzzle brakes. And that's another miss. All right, and we're now moving to the charge phase. Not a lot of productivity from that shooting. We have the jump pack, thunder strike, storm shields. I forget, it's the Space Wolf, I believe, captain equivalent. And he is making his charge handily. He is going to put the hurt on those cataphrons.
He's howling at the moon.
Getting +1 on their charge, needing 8 because they deep struck. Wolfen charging them. Looking for an 8. They're a Wolfen, so they can also re-roll. And that's finding it. And moving the Wolfen in on that flank. Needed to use the re-roll. And finding the 9. Everything made it in.
9, which becomes a 10. Because that character there is given +1 to both units.
Start seeing some cataphrons broken through. I mean, those are some very strong units. I know from just my little bit of experience with Space Wolves how powerful Wolfen can be.
Very powerful.
Now that there's a strong and durable melee unit in the backfield, that's going to be especially tricky for an Admech player to deal with. I'm curious to see how it's handled.
So Wolfen down on the bottom of the screen are trying to charge at those lower breachers. They're doing their overwatch. Failed to get anything.
Need a 9, looking again. Not making
able to make that charge. At least it took no damage from the overwatch.
All right, thinking about other charges. Looks like we're moving into the fight phase. He's chosen to pile in all his units at once, which is a little out of order, but that's all right. Unless there's some rule I'm not familiar with for Wolfen.
But there is not. Nothing has a rule that breaks the order like that.
Okay. So just for your edification, his opponent hasn't called it, but that was technically incorrect. Units pile in when they activate, so piling in all of them at once was technically not correct. But his opponent has chosen to let it slide, or hasn't spotted it. Not that it has a huge influence on game outcome.
It can. I have been in games where it does make a big difference if you do that out of order.
Yeah. Although in this case, I don't think it will, particularly.
Not too much, no.
And that's 2 more cataphrons down. That flank is getting pretty chewed up. That coming down from that top side flank. Wolfen looking for 3s to hits.
Wolfen going to try and hammer open these servers.
Doing pretty well.
Chucking out some rerolls there. Going to be wounded on 2s here because Wolfen are stronger than the average Marine.
A lot of wounds.
-11 -3 on the breachers.
11 -3, and those
I think
are
this might have the
Thunderhammers.
unit.
And for 6s, not finding enough.
1 save with the Bionics. And those are some cursed splatted servitors.
All right. And now consolidating into combat with what looks like Daedalosus? Perhaps?
I think it might just be a tech priest. It's hard to tell. That is Daedalus. Okay, it is Daedalosus.
All right. Need to go find out who that is later. All right.
The return punchies.
And so far, Daedalosus is trying to take out for what it can.
Making sure they get the stat line right. 2 attacks from the Daedalosus with a claw, which have missed. Excellent. Good showing. Good showing for the Mechanicum's return punches.
All right, and that is, we're now going to the bottom of turn 2.
All right, Space Wolves are really racking up some points there.
Looks like we're getting some Born for Glory points. And looks like a claim for Recon as well.
Yep, really throwing up some points there with the Space Wolves.
Moving into the movement phase of the bottom of turn 2. Man, these are, I'm starting to see, these are two, relatively fragile. Coming from the Iron Hands, coming from other Necrons, coming from other really durable forces. These are two relatively fragile, extremely hard-hitting infantry-based forces. It's cool to see them interact like this. One's very shooty, one's very melee, and we're seeing that interact in dynamic ways, and I'm not sure I would have expected. Curious to see if those Wolf and other characters get dealt with. Space Wolf characters notoriously difficult to get rid of.
This is actually kind of surprising in the 2 different mindsets looking at this, because you're finding surprise in what's happening here, but I feel like everything is happening exactly as I see it playing out.
Oh, well, tell me your predictions from here. What do you think?
Well, the main thing is going to be is the Wolfen coming in, because the Castellans are getting closer. It's going to come down to the dice rolls whether the Wolfen are going to be able to make it and do enough hammer hits to take out the Castellans. Otherwise, the Castellans are going to sit there and just start just mowing down those Wolfen. And right now, they're in a position already to just unleash hell on them.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going to be a good way that may distract that the breachers in front of them are probably going to be shoving into the back lines where they can start dealing with eliminators, because they have pretty good chances of dealing with that.
Yes, they do.
And then you have the giant unit of destroyers just slowly trundling forward or making miniature suns on the table.
Yeah, if the Wolfen touch that unit, that's going to be... I'm not sure.
It's going to be very rough to touch that unit with the Wolfen, because the Cognis Flamers just get automatic
Cognis
amounts of
Overwatch
hit.
is crazy.
In addition to anything, the Plasma's going to pop down their way.
Yeah.
Hey, do you make a fucking sequel list over there? Good. I want to see that shit in my face.
I was slightly triggered. It almost looked like Eddie was making the list in sequel, and that was very much infuriating me.
No, I think he's copying down our wolf player.
Yep. He's adding the list so you can actually cue the chat to display the lists.
Ah. Just putting him in the chat. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to the bottom of turn 2. We got some measurement going on here. Haven't seen the Electro Priest yet. Can they deep strike?
Yeah, because he took his mixed detachment. Had I think it's Lucius.
Oh, Lucius.
Lucius gets it, so they can teleport people in. Because the Forge World that has the notoriety of teleporting Titans.
Titans.
Should be hilarious to see in a game of someone just playing Lucius. Like, wow, there's barely anything on the table. I wonder why that is. Roll down turn 2. I teleport my Warlord Titan.
Boop. Enjoy. Well, he seems to have deep struck essentially an anti-assault line.
Yep.
Man, what a...
So right now it looks like he's putting down the Electro Priest as a deterrent for the Wolfen down there.
And
assuming they are not. Assuming they are not going to be phosphored.
The mortal wounds from the Electro Priest are an incredibly strong counter to the invuln saves of the Wolfen.
And that's exactly what we're looking at.
What a play.
The mortal wound bows there are going to be a good answer. Just like how over inside of the Mechanicum's lines, having that entire unit of destroyers if they want to, unleashing on the Wolfen, which are not in combat anymore because Data Lotus left, which is a good idea.
Yeah.
With having a bunch of multi-damage and a bunch of auto hits, they could probably kill 5 Wolfen. Unless the dice rolls are hot on those Storm Shields.
Man. It's going to be a curious turn. We are definitely seeing 2 players with real experience here, though. This is pretty incredible to watch.
All right, the Canicles are staying in effect. No changing. Player showing, Space Wolf player showing very good sportsmanship, reminding him that if he wants to change Canicles, now would be the time.
Using Arch-Titan Virus to deal D3 mortal wounds to that Space Wolf's character.
Opening up a box, just going to shoot some binaric lightning at someone.
It's another solid move, just dealing straight 2 mortal wounds. Basically like a smite in a box.
Yep,
it's not bad.
It's a once-a-game item. It's like having a ring of spell storing that has 1 cast of magic missile in it.
Wow.
Just being pacha! Because of course you wear that ring on your middle finger, so you can just poke your middle finger out of them. Magic missile.
Digital weapons.
It's basically what it is.
Las cannon.
Melty Melta. Somehow heavy bolter. That was the one that they could fire. I could never make heads or tails of how they did it.
Looking for 2s.
Storm Shield saves. D6 points of damage on this character. This may slay him.
Looking to see if that's Melter range
Big old
from
cowboy trying to
Belisarius
kill
Skull.
a character. He's inside the Melter range. Let's see how bad this is.
5 damage.
The 5 will kill.
And that's takedown.
There's a Space Hulk character dead.
Surprised he didn't CP reroll that save, honestly.
Could be saving the CP for later.
Or for him. All right, let's see if these guys can clear out their backfields. They got a bit of a Wolfen issue. And that is a unit kill.
Mm-hmm. All right, all the flamers going at the character, in addition to one of the plasma culverins.
And all the other plasma going into the Wolfen.
All right, here's the flamer hits.
That's a lot.
There's a lot of fire over there.
We are starting to see a pattern with the Admech player just throwing down buckets of dice.
That character is probably going to change his basing scheme to water up to his waist now.
Wow. It's getting spicy down there.
Just not even wanting to waste time since they are on the clock with the 34 flamer hits and
Yeah.
just removing the character. Because he
Very,
only had
very polite, very reasonable for a character with 2 wounds and only a 3-up. Number of shots from Plasma, a very good roll actually. I'm only seeing a couple of 2s, a lot of 5s and 6s, well above statistical. 37 shots on, I believe, 8d6. Average of a.
that was 96
4.
roll.
No, an average of about 4. A little more still. All right, Wolfen trying
Mike
to
now seeing
survive.
if he even has enough dice for this attack.
It is in doubt.
Can hit on 2s, reroll 1s. This is going to be a bad time for the Wolfen, but we're going to have it rolled out because the
Hitting on
saves could do it.
2s rerolling, doing the classic ballistic skill 10. I think he's just doing it in volleys.
That's our first batch of hits, which was all fully accurate. Next batch of hits.
Once again,
Everything's
fully
in there.
accurate.
Really ranged in
Wolfen
here.
T4 gonna need 2s to wounds. Third batch of hits. Looking at 5 misses so far, which becomes
There
one
was a
miss.
single miss in all of that.
So now he has 36 hits, 2s to wounds. What you're seeing is just stacking up wounds.
Stacking up all that
drop that
plasma
die.
death.
If you're wondering why you can't see the symbol in our rolling tray anymore,
29 wounds from the
however,
plasma culprits.
we have all seen stacks and stacks of die that don't miss a 3-up, and he still had a 3-up invuln. Each one through will kill, I believe.
He's got 29. 4 of these guys have 3-up invulns.
Honestly, that unit is going to give a Warhound Plasma envy. First 20, looking for 3s. I see 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe that's unit. Oh, although don't Wolfen get a feel no pain?
Fairly certain they do.
So 18 damage has gone through.
Pretty sure there's 10 wounds in that unit.
10 wounds
Both are
total.
all 2 wound models, if I'm correct.
Yes, although I don't know. I don't know what their feel no pain is.
Well, we're about to find out.
I see several 6s. 2 dead. 3 dead. 4 dead. 5 dead.
Yep, that is the unit gone.
And that is another unit kill as the as that bottom side, left side continues to get cleaned up. How's that? It was a lot of plasma.
Mechanicum just dumped 3
That's a
CP
lot
on
of
the
plasma.
Castellan robots. Going for the super buff stacks.
Dumping everything on the Castellans. I believe he's going to try and use those Castellans to clear off the other unit of Wolfen.
More than likely.
Man, that was hard to watch. I'm gonna be honest, that was a lot of plasma.
So you've never seen the Giant Destroyer plasma bomb?
No.
I guess,
good.
I guess personally, it's until today I've actually seen it, but I've seen all the theories and everything of it working.
Yeah. Man, practice is meeting theory right now. All right, looking for 4s with everything re-rolling. Because they're within range of Belisarius Call, Master of Mars, Maker of Primaris, Doer of Heresy, Tickler of Bunny Rabbits.
Is Call truly the Master of Mars? Doesn't the Fabricator General still technically have dominion over him?
The Jabbercator General? I don't know. I don't think Call knows or cares. He made secret space marines for 10,000 years. He's the Master of Mars. Thank you very much. Look at him. Look at how many tentacles he's got. That dude's clearly in charge. Vote for Call.
There's way too many mechadendrites.
A vote for Call is a vote for replacing your kidneys with turbo mecha kidneys. Vote for Call.
Why would you need turbo mecha kidneys if they just replace your blood?
You need it to filter your oil. It's just 2 Daytona oil filters shoved into your kidney holes. Welcome to the Adeptus Mechanicus. Looking for 3s, 6s, or mortals.
Because the Wrath of Mars was used on these robots. Because we are looking for Ultra Mega Super Ultra Mega Doom. And yes, Ultra Mega had to be used twice.
Yes, it did. I'm looking at 3 6s. And more rolls. Another 6. Quite a few more regular, all regular wounds on that roll. Very good roll. And then yet another 6.
This is a bad time to be a wolfen.
That's what you get for being a furry, I guess. Admech are the opposite of furries.
Mm-hmm.
That must be what caused this enmity. Oh, man.
All right,
1 dies from 5 mortals, made 3 feel no pains.
Pretty good, pretty good.
So that's 1 wolfen down.
4 more to go.
I hope they do it. I believe in them. Wow. Awful lot of 3-ups. All right, that's 8 fails. If he fails all of his feel no pains, this will unit.
Spell them all to lose a little unit.
I see 1,
Didn't
2
fail
feel
all.
no pain. There's a wolfen standing.
1 unwounded wolfen. Question's going to be who's going to stay.
Probably the sergeant. Or not.
Left the guy in back with the Storm Shield and Thunderhammer. Probably the better move because of that Storm Shield.
Yeah, I was just thinking because he rolled all his saves as 3 pluses. Instead of doing it for 4 guys at a time, but... Because the sergeant doesn't have a Storm Shield, but I think they're just doing that for time. I'm also not sure this Wolfen player is used to having to take that many saves at once.
Now Arc Rifle is shooting at him.
Saved. Lola Wolfen. All right. Board started with 10 Wolfen and some characters. Board's down to kind of 1 Wolfen. Honestly, kind of some stragglers in the back. I don't think there's any more Deep Strikers coming from the Space Wolves.
Nope, that should be everything.
The reinforcements have come and gone. Converted into a fine vapor by the wrath of the plasma.
Suppressor's having one save, -2.
Looking for 4s.
So Lone Breacher fires up at him. Managing
3
3
damage.
wounds, killing a suppressor.
Popping a suppressor. Brutal bottom of turn 2.
All right, another Breacher squad splitting its shots up against the Eliminators.
That's 1 wound on the Eliminators. G3.
Up using a CP reroll there. Still a fail.
Still failed. Still looking for damage.
3 damage that kills out that Eliminator.
That's another Eliminator dead. Really just picking at these units.
Single hit with no wound on the Intercessors all the way to the right.
Man, I don't see an incredible path forward for the Space Wolves player. He can still eke out quite a few points with his remaining units. But I don't personally see a path to victory for the Space Wolves. That being said, I don't deal with Space Wolves very often, so I'm not sure what abilities they still have in their pocket. But it's certainly going to be an uphill battle for him from here on out. Yeah. Man.
All right, one priest goes down in Overwatch.
Electro Priest.
All right, chucking a frag grenade off that auxiliary grenade launcher.
Boom.
Thoop. Completely missed though. Single hit from the Vultures. That's failed to save and failed to feel no pain, killing another priest.
Those spicy lightning priests are having a dickens of a time.
So 8-inch charge, we have the miniguns get +1.
It's only 8 charge. He's getting in to add 1 there. Having trouble hitting the tray.
And not making it with a Fulgurite.
Yep, got 9.
We did make it.
Yep.
Sometimes I mostly go off body language, folks. I appreciate the corrections. Electro Priest in, moving in on those 2, I believe, infiltrators. Nope, and stringing their way over to their friends. Neither of those units is going to have a particularly happy day. Man, you can even, looking at the top down, you can see the relative scattering and the relative thin nature of all those white bases, folks. The real strength, the Adeptus Mechanicus coming out here. It's quite a game. Oh yeah.
All right.
All right, rolling to hit, I believe, against the infiltrators.
Yep, these are the Electro Priests. Looking for their mortal wounds.
Doing this against the intercessors.
2 mortal wounds that kill out an intercessor before they even strike.
Killing an intercessor
By their
just by
sheer-
being extra spicy.
Just by their sheer passive lightning bolting.
You know, it may be short, but I feel like getting charged by an electrical priest and then dying because of a heart attack is a really nice little arc. Wouldn't you say, Eddie? It's a nice little arc? No? He doesn't like it, folks.
Good little short circuit.
Ooh. They didn't have a short circuit over there. They had a long charge. And they made it through. The Dice Gods giving no breaks to the Space Wolves player.
Nope.
They are fickle, they are cruel. The Dice Gods speak for all.
All right, rerolling ones for the Canicles here.
All right. Looking for threes to wounds and finding quite a few. And just the mortal wounds from the sixes take out those squad of infiltrators. And that's going to be another unit kill for the bottom of turn 2.
Yep. Space Wolves absolutely getting carved out here.
It's brutal.
Mechanic was able to just force enough of their mortal wound mechanics on them.
I will say that depending on how Bjorn plays, depending on how the Space Wolves player plays, the Admech player is making what I would consider maybe a bit of an ITC mistake. If you really want to max points and you're doing this well early game, you kind of want to ration out your enemy's units and leave small squads that are easy to kill so you can get kills, get kill more later in the game. This guy's just ravenously going after it. There's still plenty of Space Marine units around, and all of them are pretty weak, but it is going to be interesting. That's 4 Immortals on the Intercessor squad, leaving 2.
I think the other thing to bear in mind, too, is that they are on the chess clock.
That's also very true. You can't necessarily play that game. At the end of turn 2, guys, we are going to give you a score update and a quick chess clock update.
Yep. Except bear in mind, if you keep following that plan you're saying there, you're eventually going to get stuck on time.
It's true.
Because it's just taking too long for the turns to resolve.
And that's another Intercessor down. And loses an Electro Priest to Morale. And that was the bottom of turn 2, folks.
Mm-hmm.
We will get you a score update just as soon as we have it. Tom, that was another pretty brutal Admech turn.
Yep. Space Wolves being pretty much left without options to score and contest things.
I think they got 1 full unit. I mean, they got a lot of scoring units they're smattered about, but everything's weakened, everything's hurt. I see 2 undamaged units with some characters. You can see the white. I mean, it's just white dots scattered around the giant red castle at this point. I mean, look at that. Goodness. So it is discussing secondaries right now. If we could borrow that score sheet again, if you wouldn't mind turning the chess clock around real quick, let's give you a chess clock update. Who's who here? All right, the Adeptus Mechanicus player has 25 minutes remaining, and our Space Wolves player has 49 minutes. Thank you so much. So Space Wolves definitely moving fast. That might be an advantage as we move here to the later stage of the game. So let me give you an update on Mike, our Adeptus Mechanicus player. Turn 1, still 3 primaries. Turn 2, 4 primaries.
4 primaries.
Got hold and kill more. Also got King of the Hill. Also got Headhunter for a total of 4 plus 3 plus 5 for a total of 7 plus 5 for a total of 12 points.
Over
Not
with Kane
bad.
with his Space Wolves, he managed to get a hold 1, a kill 1, and the bonus point.
And the bonus point.
Grabbing up a point for Recon Engineer and I've already forgot. Born for Glory.
Born for Glory.
That's that one. And that's going to end him on a total of 10 points.
So we are 12 to 10 Admech.
Still a nice tight game. Definitely staying interesting.
Oh, yeah. Both of these are clearly experienced players who know their lists well.
Yep. Table presence-wise, it's definitely looking to be a favor for the Admech, but the Space Wolves can still do some tricks. Keep racking up those points, because just because you're losing a lot of units doesn't necessarily mean it's over in any format of game that you're playing.
No, it does not. Certainly can be an advantage, though. It's going to be interesting. Going to be an interesting remainder. We're seeing the... oh, man, that went far. Distance drop die.
We'll get it later.
Seeing the Space Wolves make good use of the movement phase, using the terrain to their advantage. Very Space Wolfy. Trying to take cover, keep their heads low. I think trying, for the most part, to avoid the giant gobbets of plasma death that have enveloped many of their comrades.
So suffering a mortal wound and all of the movement mechanics there being halved on the Electro Priest. All right, Jaws of the Warwolf. Rolling 9, subtracting out the movement characteristic of that unit, which has already been cut in half, doing 6 mortal wounds to the Electro Priest. Rune Power is definitely doing a lot here. And that's 6 down.
And that's 6 Electro Priests down. That was quite the hat trick.
So that's the Rune Priest popping out, killing off 7 of the Priests, and doing a crap ton of debuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really quite impressive. If he can clear out the rest of those Electro Priests. Could be interesting. All right, throw in the last cannon.
Suppressors now firing their auto cannon, trying to finish off the last remaining breacher up at the top of the chapel. Remembering the Canicles.
Shroud Psalm and reroll ones to shoot.
So they have Shroud Psalm and are rerolling their ones to shoot with. Advantage 1 wound on this guy. Passes the save, though. Breacher remaining alive.
1 hour left in the general round. 1 hour, 10 minutes for us, I believe.
1 hour 10.
Well, they're also on a chess clock,
70
so that's
minutes
probably going to
remain.
dictate their time.
Throw a chest clock, so never mind. Your dice down, I'm thinking chest clock. As soon as you go chest clock, everything else doesn't matter.
Yeah, never mind. They are on chess clock.
All right. That lone breacher just to the north of the chapel in the middle just got killed.
Three D3 shots.
All right. Lemire's going for
6.
extra shoot mechanic. Using that special ammo they got.
Tom, somebody's saying hi.
I will say hi to whoever is saying hi to me.
Their Twitch handle is wish you were dead.
Wish you were death. Well, thanks for the shout out, friends.
If only I know who that was, because I don't know anybody's Twitch channels.
Can you give us a clue? Bjorn throwing his last cannons out.
It's somebody that apparently I rarely show when I have Warhammer.
Ah.
All right, Bjorn firing off the las.
Move for 2 wounds. 2 wounds.
Ooh, good save rolls there.
Pass on boxcars.
Harmlessly bounce off those las cannons throwing at them.
Well,
Because we all know Bjorn literally does throw his las cannons at people.
or like just like hits the only metal bits and they're okay. Frickin' bionics, man. Just like, haha, right between the lungs. Nothing vital.
All right, Intercessors opening up fire on the other forward unit of breachers that are still around. Chucking a crack grenade out from that auxiliary grenade launcher.
You want me to hold this?
Here comes that crack grenade being lobbed. Getting the hit. Managing the wounds.
Got the wounds. Taking -2, looking for 4s. And finding it. And the bolt rifles.
And grabbing 3 wounds there against the breachers. Two fail, doing 2 wounds to a breacher. Not quite able to drop anybody.
Did not quite get him.
We're at 10 viewers for a brief second.
Well. Everybody, we appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much for coming, dropping by to say hi. It has been a great tournament, and we are so happy to share this war game with you. Watching the Wolfen charge through a wall. He can't be seen, so he can't get overwatched. Looking for 5s, and finding it with 6.
Got it. So I like to imagine he probably does some big superhero thing, get on top of the wall and leap down to
Yes.
swing his hammer at the robots,
Does like a sweet backflip and smashes his face.
howling the whole time. All right, inching himself over slightly so he can tie up a tech priest.
Hit on 3s.
Try and
Looking
smash
for
hammer with 3 hits
3s.
there.
2 wounds at -3.
Now the invulns for the Castellans. Fail them both.
And that's gonna be a robot. Does it explode? No.
No explosion.
Pops a bot. Bot popper. Pops a bots or rots a toppins. All right, we got 2 breachers swinging back. And also a tech priest.
Breachers here first, though, with their arc claws. Gonna try and grab them with that lightning. Chomp, chomp. We're now clawing each other with our hands.
In a weird claw form. I seem to have lost this fight.
Wolfen
All right,
suffering a
down
wound.
to Wolfen.
Not quite dead yet.
Top of turn 3, folks, for those of us just joining.
He's not dead till he's dead. Manipulus still has his attacks to make. Can he
Manipulus.
finish off the Wolfen?
Two hits.
It's 2 flat damage. Does he feel this pain?
He does. He feels
He
just
feels
enough.
it.
All right, he's fighting on death. Fighting the Tech Priest Manipulus, getting 3 hits. And 3 wounds.
3 wounds against him. Does
Gonna
he
be able to kill
smash
the
with his
Manipulus?
hammer as he dies?
Manipulus.
6 points damage. That
And
kills
kill
him.
the Tech Priest, and that's another unit kill. Well done.
So what I like
Wolfen.
to think happened is the Wolfen jumped in, smashed apart a Castellan robot. The breachers came up, grabbed it with the claws, crushed him. In that, just kind of ended up throwing his hammer up in the air, and while the Manipulus turned around, and was like, "Hey, good job, breachers!" It lands on his head and kills him.
Kills him instantly. Nice.
Because I'm all for having some of the humor of 40K still in the game. I mean, otherwise we probably still wouldn't have orcs.
It's now time for another episode of Jack's Fun Fact Happy Hour. Today's fun fact, there are no wolves on Fenris. Today's fun fact was brought to you by the Magnus Archives. Thank you so much. All right, moving into the bottom of turn 3. We're seeing the Cataphrons move up. We're seeing the Fulgurites move up with their now significantly reduced movement. Eddie is telling me Magnus did nothing wrong. Obviously making some sort of joke. Magnus did a lot of things wrong. I'm not sure he deserves all the hate, but he did a lot wrong.
Magnus had the best of intentions, but he definitely did things wrong.
The road to the warp is paved with good intentions. Only faith in the Emperor is the true path forward. Just ask those Cataphrons, man.
Yep. Gotta be honest, though, that Wolfen getting killed out and not being able to actually tie up any of those units from shooting, definitely not a good position for the Wolves to be in right now.
Yeah, you got a character.
He got a character out of it,
It's
but
a rough trade.
I don't think they're going to have a whole lot left after this shooting.
Well, let's see. I don't know. I think they might do all right. I fully predict that the Space Wolves are going to have a full turn 4. After turn 4, I don't know, but they're running out of...
Uh-oh, we just had a huge amount of dice spilled on the floor there. That's not a good thing.
Oh, you hate to see it.
And they seem to be the small 12mm dice. This is going to be a rough time for that player.
Watch your step, folks.
Luckily, a flock of gamers descend upon to assist in the recovery of the dice.
Is it a flock? I mean, it's a mischief of squirrels.
Well, it's only 4, so it's a flock.
Should it be...
Gamers are different in that, depending on how many you are, changes the descriptor for the grouping.
Isn't it a guild of gamers?
No, that's when you need at least 16.
Guild? A sweat of gamers?
That's when you have the one that doesn't shower.
Ah. All right. Bring it out the White Dwarf. Doing some rule checking here.
All right.
Bringing
That was a
Calidus
roll
Assassin.
of 4 to see how close the Calidus could appear. That also was my bad when I went through that, because the formatting was a bit weird for the assassins here. He did have the point set aside in his list to be able to take an assassin off of the command point dropping in. Like I said, because of the formatting, I kind of missed that one. So that is on me for not properly informing you guys at the start of the battle. I will pardon myself and go commit seppuku now.
Hey man, that is all right.
All right, apparently my soul is shackled to this world for not fulfilling a purpose, as I am now here haunting Jack as a ghost on the stream.
You're just haunting me now.
Well, I went off and just ritual suicide to myself, and I'm still here talking at you, so...
No, that's because you're
That's
part of
the
my
only logical
imagination.
conclusion.
We've covered it. We've covered this thoroughly. My goodness. Throwing 5d6 shots to the eliminators. 16 shots. Calidus Assassin. We dropped Calidus Assassin 7 inches away.
It's actually the
Special
old style
abilities.
Calidus Assassin, which is the one that... that's the same sculpt as one of the ones that's my favorite, because she's totally a Necron.
I respect it. All right, 16 shots. Looking for 2s on the overcharge. And that's 9 wounds.
9
At
wounds on
minus
these
3.
eliminators.
Trying to get those eliminators. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's
That
the
is a
eliminators.
number of fails. Those are some eliminators that have definitely become puddles in the building.
They've been eliminated, you might say.
Now these shots against the suppressors.
Or if those Cataphrons used to be guys named Jim, they've been agiminated. Or if they were Tim, it'd be atimidated. Or if they were me, they would have been discriminated. Suppressors. And looking for Tuesday Wound against the suppressors, I believe. 12 wounds at -3 on the suppressors.
Not a good day to be a suppressor.
Not a good day to be a Space Wolf.
That is a dead squad. More puddles form. Puddles of plasma goo.
I'm not even sure they're puddles at that point. It's so much overkill. I think they're just gaseous.
Well, I guess you're also right, because technically a plasma just makes sudden contact with a person. It just literally causes them to explode. That's why scientifically a lightsaber won't actually exist, because as soon as you turn it on, you blow up.
No, it's controlled with force magic. It's definitely force magic. Leave my lore alone.
Quite a number of misses there. Let's see if they can be told to shoot better. And a few of them take the advice.
Looking for 3s. Eight at -2, no cover save
Let's
from
see
the
if the
Cataphrons.
phosphors can do the duty.
Or Castellans, my bad. And another unit, another eliminator. What are we down to? We got those 2 characters, the 5. So you have the character hiding in the top left, Bjorn the Fell-Handed, and the Psyker, and top center over to the right a little bit. The 2 intercessors in the back right, and the 5 intercessors in the bottom right. That is the remainder of the Space Wolves.
All right. Only 4 wounds from the phosphor against the intercessors now. That's still 3
Failed
fails.
3.
That's going to kill 1.5 intercessors there on the bottom right of your screen.
Shot through the hearts, and you're to blame. My armor rib did not save. 12 shots into Bjorn, the Bjorn hand.
These are arc rifles going at Bjorn.
Oh,
This
into a
could end badly
vehicle.
for him.
Arson to Bjorn.
Calls there, giving out his buff to help them. Saying, kill that walking objective marker.
He's calling out. Looking for 5s to wound up there, strength 6. I see at least 3. That's 4. 4 -2s. These are going to be a little deadly if they go through. Oh man, Bjorn ain't caring.
Only one's failed, but it's a d6 damage against him since he's a vehicle.
4 damage.
That's 4 points of damage.
Then 5 up from Bjorn. He cares for 3.
One of those circuits blowing, he just doesn't care about.
Just does not care. He thinks it tickles. He's ready for it.
It just starts him into a story talking about something that happened 9,731 years ago.
Sounds right. Sounds very Bjorny. Great. Throwing out a frag grenade. I believe we've actually moved into... Oh, this is Overwatch. Still at the bottom of turn 3.
All right, no hits at all from that Overwatch there. a 2-inch charge. Do they still make it?
Still made it with 2-inch. Looks like it. Those Fulgurite Electro Priests charging in.
Yep, the halving of all the speeds definitely helped.
The Calidus charging the 2 characters. Oh, just the Librarian. For 7 gets an 8.
I always like thinking about the situation of what happens when a Calidus reveals herself. Because, you know, she always disguises herself as what they are. I like to feel like these space soldiers just standing around. They kept seeing their one, like, why does he keep hanging around back there? And look over, wait a minute. They don't have a beard. Oh my god, she's a girl!
Run! She's got a Xenos phase blade! Oh, and Bjorn has heroically intervened to squish her like a bug. Bug her like a squish.
All right, Calidus going to see if she can do some assassinating. She's going to try and kill that rune
5
priest.
hits.
She says enough with your brain magic.
Priest the rune. Stab it in the brain. It's the only surefire way of killing
How
it.
dare you weaponize books?
3 wounds. Looking for 6s.
6 up saves.
No save.
6 total damage. That assassinates the rune priest.
Dropping 3 CP to honor the chapter. Or equivalent.
Yeah. Space was saying, yeah, why the heck not? I'm going to go ahead and interrupt against the Electro Priest.
Alright, Calidus has killed the Rune Priest, but the Rune Priest is going to respond, but on this player's time. Interrupting with those 2 intercessors. It's a good chance it's just going to be Bjorn and 3.5 intercessors.
2 wounds from these intercessors.
Alright. And that's a Rune Priest down.
That's one more Electro Priest dead.
The Rune Priests are moving in. The Prune Priests. 5 Rune Priests trying to clear out those intercessors. Oh.
The Rune Priest was already assassinated.
They have runes on them. The walking power outlets are going to see what they can do against the Toll Boys. Will the Chad Marines withstand?
4 wounds against these intercessors.
2 saves, 2 fails.
P3s. All right, so 1 intercessor takes 4 damage.
One intercessor is down, but there's an intercessor remaining. All right, the actual Rune Priest, the walking pseudo psyker. Oh, I think we'll start with Bjorn.
Bjorn's heroically intervening. Try and smash you that Calidus.
Calidus. Wounded on 2s, re-rolling. 7 wounds at -4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 failures.
Just curious to see how much damage happens.
18 damage.
18 damage.
18 damage from Bjorn. on the Calidus.
The Calidus runs in. She stabs the Rune Priest. Bjorn picks her up, squeezes, say, "No girls allowed."
Yeah. Oh, there's more intercessors we all sort of forgot about. They are behind that building where the Eliminators were.
And I will stand completely by my decision to picture that the Space Wolves are extremely juvenile about this.
Oh, yeah.
And all of the no girls allowed things.
I mean, honestly, that was like a triple overkill. I don't think I've ever seen anybody dice that finely since the last time I buried someone in D6s. Finally diced.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get you that score update for turn 3 just as soon as we can. Current
Which
chess
would
clock
be
has
right
us at
now, Jack.
7 minutes for the Admech and 40 minutes for the Space Wolves player.
So that score update is going to be right now, Jack, my boy.
All right, the Adept Mechanic has scored an additional 4 primaries this turn. Is up to 3 on King of the Hill, 3 on Headhunter, and 1 on Old School, bringing him to a total of 18 points.
All right. Well, over with Kane and the Space Wolves, he has managed to kill 1.
Kane and the Space Wolves sounds
He
like a
has,
40K themed Benny and the Jets
he has
cover
brought
bands.
himself back up to 11 points.
11 to 18, going to be a bit of a hat trick to recover. Space Wolves still have some intercessors holding an objective through a wall. Bjorn the Fell-Handed with some damage on him, and just some random smatterings of other intercessors in that right part of the fields. Already moving into the shooting phase.
All right, heavy flaming on the Electro Priest.
1 wound.
Getting a single wound. Failed to save. Does he feel the fire? He doesn't feel the fire. All of his skin melted off, and he's just completely non-bothered.
Remember, if you can't hear us when we're talking about the Fulgurite Electro Priests, you might need some extra amps.
I see what you did there.
I was trying to work with the volts for like a full minute. All right. And that's another Cataphren down.
All right. Unit Intercessors now opening fire on the Electro Priest, trying to get rid of those.
Wow. Getting called out over here.
I can't see the chat.
Someone called me out for being shockingly bad.
Ha!
Thank you so much. Oh, goodness. All right. Looks like we're moving into the charge phase. The Intercessors did a little bit of damage as they could. So did Bjorn. No Overwatch from the Fulgurite Electro Priests. Did not make the charge. Bjorn charging the Electro Priests. Getting in with a 7. Bjorn is going to flambe some Electro Priests. Bjorn's batteries are running low, and he's about to go find juice wherever he can. Either that or his pacemaker stopped, and he's got one chance left. All the hits from Bjorn. Looking for 2s. 5 at -4.
Bjorn definitely doing some smashy.
Looking for invulns.
That makes 5 6s. Yeah.
All right. Finishing off the CP to fight twice with Bjorn the Fell-Handed.
All right. Electro Priest gonna go get their swings in. Gonna
Just
see if
like
they
the
can-
Energizer Bunny before them, they're not giving up that easy.
Bearing in mind that if they don't bring down Bjorn, he's... All right. Had the wording confused. Bjorn's actually getting his second fight now. It's not he waits until the end of the phase.
Oh, geez, nice.
Five more saves against those little breacher... No, not the breachers. The Electro Priests. Had a little bit of a miniature stroke there, I think.
And that's 2 more Electro Priests down. Finally, at long last, chewing through that unit.
See what the Electro Priests put back. 2d3 mortal wounds against Bjorn. For 3 mortal wounds.
3 mortal wounds on Bjorn.
Does he feel them?
He is not in a
He
feeling
feels one of
mood.
them. Bjorn definitely beating these Electro Priests up pretty good.
Oh, yeah. All right, that was the top of turn 4, folks. We're now moving to the bottom of turn 4. See what our Admech are going to do. They are running real low on that chess clock. So we're going to see if they can play quickly. All right, the Electro Priest survived. Not even kill one for the Space Wolves, but sometimes that's just life. All right, going into the movement phase for the bottom of turn 4. Seeing those Cataphrons pull back. Seeing Smelisarius Tall moving in his weird, snaky way across the battlefield. All of his little extra arms propelling him forward like a literal barrel of monkeys with only small holes at the bottom for them to navigate through. But metal.
Destroyers just continue their slow roll up the back of creating suns.
All right. I believe we're moving into the shooting phase. Telisari Small is trying to kill those intercessors.
He's going to do it with his
What?
gun things.
What am I saying? Gellerfieldius Troll has managed to kill those
In
intercessors.
case you're curious what's happening here, Eddie is only just now realizing that Jack has been making parody names of Call the entire game.
Of who? I would never make fun of Gellimardius Tall. Oh, that's a charge from Toaster Guardius Ball. What? What is it, Eddie? You have something you'd like to say? Great, look, that's a make going for the Electro Priests.
The intercessors were wiped out, by the way, in case anybody missed that.
I think they just got pulled off, essentially.
There's still a squad behind that building.
Yeah, there's a squad behind that building that you guys can't see in your overhead view. We apologize. There's another lone intercessor all the way at the top, and in your... Oh, all the way to your right. And there's another character all the way to the left in the top center, but I'm not sure what role he's intends for him to play
the
later in
little
the game, if
Phobos
any.
character continuing to be sneaky. You know, us Phobos do.
That's how they do. 2 -2s on Bjorn the Fell-Handed. Failed both. For 5
Doing
damage.
5 points damage to him. Does he feel them? He feels 4 of them. Bjorn goes
Feels
down.
him,
Does he
looking for an
explode?
Yes!
He explodes!
Bjorn ain't giving up that easy. Bjorn the Fell-Handed, the oldest popsicle, is going on a vengeance strike crusade even after his own death.
Bjorn the Fell-Handed has now become Bjorn the Fell Explosion, and will then become Bjorn the Fell Crater.
Isn't he Bjorn the Feld?
No, that's not how the name works.
He's Bjorn the Feld now, like a tree.
No, he's gonna be Bjorn the Fell Crater.
Two
It's
more
crater
electro
that's
priests going
always
down.
full of ice for some reason.
Icy crater.
4 electro priests.
4 electro priests left. Bjorn's death has been brought to you by Smirnoff Ice.
I got.
All right, that's going to end turn 4 for us. And we will get you that score update just as soon as we can.
All right. This score update. You want to get Mike here?
All right, Mike, the Adeptus Mechanics player, got 4 on his primaries. Just did not get the bonus. We got kill, hold more, hold more. He maxed King of the Hill, maxed Headhunter, and still only has a 1 for Old School, giving him a total points of 11 from secondaries. 14, 18, 22. I believe 26 points at final count.
That looks like mathematics to me.
Mathematics.
Over here with Kane, he has a hold 1 for the primary. And he has maxed out engineers. That is going to give Kane a whopping total of 13.
13-26, that's a ground rule double on the points.
All right, Priest now being shot at. That final
Let's see
squad of
if their
Space Wolves trying
faith
to
will
take him
save
down.
them. Space Wolves player really wants those priests dead as we go into the top of turn 5.
6 saves against those priests.
It's another
One
priest
dies
down.
after all of that. That's leaving him with 2 remaining.
And moving to the charge phase, they're charging the priests.
Electro priests are now being charged. The charge
7
is successful.
makes it.
Intercessor's
For
going to
6.
join in the fun.
They get it. They're really just trying to punch these 2 priests. An action that, in my experience, gets you arrested pretty quickly. They're just sort of getting away with because this is a miniatures game. 1 wound on the priests,
And they save it.
and they save it.
They were able to harmonically resonate their electrical fields to give them an invuln save. I don't know how the lore works out for that with the description GW gives us, but apparently it works.
The power of science compels you. And then they just hit you with a toaster.
I'm waiting until we finally see Mechanicum with toaster flails.
They just shoot toast out at you and whip the flail at
It's
you.
a
No,
grenade
they
weapon. You
grab
throw the toaster
power
and then
cord
the...
of the toaster, just helicopter it above their head, and just start smacking you with it.
Oh, I like it. What if they like superheat Pop-Tarts, fire them at you, and then the super hot jelly inside is what actually does the damage. So it's like plasma Pop-Tarts.
You mean
Watching
plasma
Eddie
tarts?
die. Plasma Tarts. Come on down to Jack's Plasma Tart Barn. We got the hottest. We have the hottest word in Pop-Tarts.
I just have to ask Jack, what else do you think plasma culverins are firing this entire time?
It's true. Do you crave a quick breakfast on the go and also 3rd degree internal burns? Come on down to Plasma Tarts.
All right, the Electro Police are finally taken
The
down.
Electro Priests are gone. That's a kill.
Mechanicum now going to go hone in on the remaining Space Wolves.
Turn 5. Toasteritis Crawl is making his way. making his way downtown. Like a dendrite's moving fast. Creepy skulls pass and I'm homebound. Na 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 na. I made Primarius. Na 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 na. I might be a heretic. Na 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 na. And now I'll eat your face right off. I'm Belisarius Call. I think they have, actually. We should ask when the game's over.
All right.
That's a
Here's the
wound.
Overwatch of Call trying to jump in. He's running up to these Space Wolf Primaris being like, I heard my
that.
experiment goes wolfy. I need to open you up and dissect.
There's just a wolf in here. Is this a puppet being controlled by a wolf? What's happening?
This is how the Mechanicum does troubleshooting. Only 3 inches. He's a very slow boy. He is quite a slow Marsy boy.
Marsy boys.
Call getting into combat. Usually a rare sight for everybody. Mike
He's
proudly
making it in.
declaring he has done this before.
Head smack at his hall is going to try and live up to his namesake. He's going to bark. He's going to scourge some barks in the case of the Space Wolves. That's a bark scourge.
Only one wound there against the Intercessors. It's a -2. It has failed. He kills an Intercessor.
And that's a unit kill. He's going to hit him with his Medusan body. One wound, no AP. They're
It's
good.
saved. The Space Wolf choosing not to die to cause way too many mechadendrites.
It's the appropriate number. Because no one really knows what it is.
Calls a toughness 6. Looking to
Looking
wound
for
on
fives.
5s.
I see a couple.
2 wounds against the good old Mars boy of Call.
Ferristerium Manus, otherwise known as Belisarius Call.
He takes a wound.
Takes a wound.
They find a soft spot to punch.
One of his few remaining soft spots. They shorted out the USB port. Man. And in turn 5, we'll get you that score update when we have it. And then it looks like they're just talking out turn 6.
Says he in turn 5. They're talking through the turn 6. With there being a whole, technically 5 Space Wolves. Well, we're pretty sure one of them has been completely forgotten about by both players.
Yeah, we are going to ask here in a second.
All right, end game
All right.
fist bump.
End
Now we
game
have to
fist
ask
bump.
the question.
Did you guys
Did
forget
everybody
about
forget about that
guy?
Phobos guy the entire game?
I could have got maybe a kill. I kind of saw him back there. I didn't know for sure what he was doing. I thought he was doing 1 or 2 different things, which is he may get another kill.
Fair
I just
enough.
thought- I just thought it would have been a little bit entertaining if the destroyers went up and decided, we're going to make a sun right there.
All right, well, that's another good game, folks. Can we get a score sheet?
In case people were wondering when we asked that question, they didn't forget about him. He was just, both players figured he was so irrelevant to everything that was happening. He just kind of
Just
hits
kind
the
of
campfire and
stayed
started
there
toasting
and
some marshmallows.
kept him from getting tables. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the second game of the Megs tournament. Sorry. Well, it is a Megs tournament. It is the Megs tournament of CAGBash, hosted by Cincycon here in beautiful Cincinnati, Ohio. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you guys sticking through it with us and joining us for a fine day of wargaming. We will get you that final score here in just a second, but before we do, we just want to say thanks to everyone who joined us, and a hearty thanks to both of our players. Without you guys, the live stream would have happened, and we really appreciate it. And the next round is going to start at 5 p.m.
All right, final scores here. We have Mike with the Mechanicus maxing out his secondaries, getting all the primary on that final turn, which is going to leave him with a grand total of 35 points. With Kane managing to grab out a few more secondaries, 2 of the primary on that final turn. That's going to put him down on a solid 20.
That's not bad. 35 to 20 going to the Adeptus Mechanicus.
It's also not that bad, figuring Kane's just said he's only been playing the game for about 8 months.
Really not that bad. That's very impressive.
So it just goes to show all it takes is a little bit of dedication, and you too can be a good tournament player.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful evening, and we will see you again at 5 o'clock for round 3.
Round the 3rd.